All right, sorry guys, my phone cut off on me on the past video I was making about Warren Sapp being hired as a defensive line coach for Colorado Buffaloes with Coach Prime there at the helm. And Coach Prime, the title that they gave Warren Sapp was quality control analyst. And the only reason why they gave him that title, as I mentioned before, the video cut off, was because the article says this. This is according to what the Bleacher Report article says, because you're only allowed to have 10 men on the football field, 10 coaches on the football field. So you can't have an 11th coach. So in order to justify Warren Sapp being on the sidelines coaching up the defensive line, is to have him with a title that doesn't say he's a coach. So that's the way Coach Prime was able to go around that. So before I got cut off here, I think I was at the part where it says that when I was talking about Sanders is entering his second season, I said I don't look at it as Sanders is going into his second season. I talked about the previous things he went through, and I've talked about him if he had the ability to actually take a retroactive or retro perspective, to look backwards, to look at some of the things that he did, and possibly asking himself, what are certain things that I could have done differently? Because we all have to do that. We're not perfect. We have to kind of look back sometimes and learn from our mistakes and evolve and get better. I'm sure he would have started off the season with the press conference a little bit different. He wouldn't be so, I don't want to use the word arrogant or being overconfident. Or even if you are overconfident or confident, like keep that indoors. Because people are going to pounce on that immediately. You start to kind of plummet. And that's exactly what happened. Louis luggage, I'm coming to dominate, I want you this, I want that. So people who don't know football thought that he was going to come there and just create a miracle overnight, but we understand it doesn't happen. You can't take a team that was 1-11 and get them to a state of being contenders for national titles in one season. I don't care if you brought in your slew of players. It doesn't work that way. There's something called team chemistry and a spiritual aspect of a team that people don't talk about much. You can get the 5-star athletes, but you also have to have standards on the team and don't bend. Okay, you have to have structure. All those things. There's some things that Coach Prime could look back and say he would do differently. So I believe that him going into his second year is actually his first year again, because all the changes that occurred after this season. And I know you guys are going to say it happens everywhere. I understand that, but you got to put things in context. Remember, this is his first year coaching in the Power 5 conferences. So all the movement, this is his first time experiencing the transition from first year to second year. And with all the changes from the coaching change. Now I'm not talking about player changes, I'm talking about the coaching changes and all the player movement. It was a lot for a team that's trying to build something. He just got there last year. It's not like he's been there for 5 years and all of a sudden players are just moving all over the place. He hasn't even had a chance to actually put his foot in the ground and cement the type of program he wants. So after the first year, all sorts of movement. It's just too much movement. So I have to consider that. So this second year to him, or to the world, is his first year. His redshirt coaching first year. He's a redshirt coach. He's a first year redshirt coach. In my opinion. That's the way I'm going to look at him, and that's the way I'm going to grade Coach Prime this year. Okay? I have to be fair. Because if I'm not. This is why I tell you guys that I'm not a hater. I'm very objective. I look at everything. I'm not just saying, oh, he better win it all. No, it's different. And then you have to factor in his moving into another conference. All right? So Sanders is heading into his second season at Colorado. The Buffaloes took the nation by storm after starting off 3-0. All right? And I think that's good to have on his resume, on Coach Prime's resume. I'm going to tell you why, because that's something he can build on. That euphoric feeling of starting the season off 3-0, he had the whole world watching his team. I mean, I was staying up late watching those Colorado games. I've never followed Colorado a day of my life, but I was following them then, before they were 3-0. I was following Colorado football. Immediately I heard Coach Prime was going there with his son. So, yeah. So that feeling that he had as a coach, starting off I think he's addicted to that. And we're all creatures that are addicted to something. Whether you're addicted to sugar or addicted to whatever you're addicted to, whatever euphoric feeling you're addicted to, you always want to go back to it. And that euphoric feeling of starting the season off 3-0 and the whole world watching you, why wouldn't Coach Prime want that again? So he's going to do everything in his power to make sure they start the season off right. And when I say right, I mean winning. Okay? So that's a good feeling to have in his resume, because now he can pull back on that. He can go back there and say, man, I want that feeling again. He's going to push his team to make sure he gets the results that he wants. And I'm sure the results that the players want as well. Okay? So the Buffaloes took the nation by storm. I started the season 3-0 last year, but they lost 8 of their last 9 games to finish 4-8. You know, that's the part. So there's a perfect balance there, right? You start the season 3-0, you're hot as hell, but you end the season off bad. So you have the seesaw effect. But that's part of the process. Respect the process of growth. And I'm glad that Coach Prime went through that, because he started off with a sweet taste of victory and ended off with a bitter taste of defeat. But when you have both, and you've experienced both, it's great to have that. Now you can work within that continuum of knowing how bad it feels to lose and learning from the losses, and knowing how great it feels to win and learning from the wins. Because people say, well, you don't learn a lot from wins, you learn a lot from losses. I don't believe that. You can learn from a win and you can learn from a loss. However you won, continue to do that. Continue to play hard and work hard and continue to believe in yourself. If you lost, don't make the same stupid ass mistakes you made when you lost. And sometimes you're just going to get beat by a better team. Learn from that loss. Sometimes you beat teams that you're not supposed to beat. Learn from that win. Learn how a team game is needed on a collegiate level. No matter how many 5-star athletes you have, it's still a team concept. This is not one-on-one. This is not tennis. This is not golf. This is not track and field. This is not a 100-meter race. You need a collective. You need the special teams, the D-line, the O-line, the receivers, the running backs, the tight ends. You need everybody to gel. And I think that what Coach Prime went through his first year was needed. And I'm thankful that he went through that, because you don't want to start off too hot. Then you start to kind of take the process for granted. But now he knows it's going to be a slow grind. And I'm hoping that his mindset is right for it. And I'm hoping that he stays in Colorado for the long haul, even after Shedeur enters the draft after this football season. Okay? Fans are expecting even more improvement this season with Heisman candidate Shedeur Sanders and two-way superstar Travis Hunter returning, and the Buffaloes landing 25 players in the transfer portal. So they have the talent. Now, do they have the talent good enough to dominate? Not yet. They have the talent to compete. They have the talent to compete. So what you're going to have to factor in is the coaching. Because at this level, coaching matters. I know talent matters. You can have a bunch of 5-star athletes, but at the end of the day, coaching still matters. And sometimes, just because you're a 5-star recruit doesn't necessarily mean you're going to come to college and dominate either. I've seen 3-star recruits come to college and develop and get stronger and better because they have a good conditioning program, they have a good workout program, they have a good training program, they have a great developmental program. Those things have to factor in. The facilities, the trainers, the nutritionists, all those things matter when you go to a college, when you go to a university. You're not a finished product when you're 18 years old. You know that, right? Your body's still growing. So many of these kids that come out of high school who weren't highly recruited, they become beasts and monsters because they're still developing. They're not a finished product. So it just depends on coaching. That's why it depends on the football environment and what that university can provide for those students in terms of getting them better and progressively improving their style of play. So we have to factor that in. So fans are expecting improvements this season, but the whole team is not based upon Shedeur and two-way superstar Travis Hunter. It's not based on that. That team is so much more than Shedeur and Travis Hunter. They have electric receivers, great offensive linemen. They can work. They can win. I'm telling you, if Coach Prime can get out of the way of daddy ball, but it's going to be impossible. You can't. That's his son. He wants to see his son flourish. It's going to be pass heavy. I believe he's going to be pass heavy again this year. The imbalance of the consequences of having an imbalanced offense is not good, but I just feel in my heart of hearts that Coach Prime is going to go back to what he knows. Now, I've heard from a couple of people telling me that when he was at Jackson State, he ran a more balanced offense. And my comeback to that was like, well, he's capable. But remember, at Jackson State, Shedeur can't win a Heisman in Jackson State. I mean, the only player we know that was nominated, that went to New York for the ceremony was, may his soul rest in strength, was McNair. He got invited, but he didn't win. But when Shedeur Sanders, Coach Prime's son, comes over to the Power 5 conferences, Coach Prime has an agenda. Oh, my son can win the Heisman. So he's going to incorporate a pass-heavy offense. Now, he doesn't devise the offensive schemes because Coach Prime is not an offensive guy. He played defense. He just gets a coach to do what the hell he wants. And people were giving me pushback saying it's the offensive coordinator that keeps passing the ball. No, it's what Coach Prime wants. There have been plenty of evidence. There have been plenty investigations have been done. That's why the offensive coordinator and Coach Prime were butting heads. Sean Lewis, because Sean Lewis wanted to incorporate more of the run. But Coach Prime was like, no, do not take the ball out of my son's hands. So I just hope that there's a balanced offense. And their team is good. Their team is good. I'm not saying their team is great, but they have the talent, man. They have the talent. I believe that they can win. They can progressively be better than 4-8. Realistically speaking, if they, and this is me being very conservative, if they win 6 games next year, we have to consider that a successful year. I know that doesn't. I know you guys are like, hell no, they don't win more than 6 games, but we have to be realistic. His first season, he wins 4 games. Now, I'm not saying he's going to win 6 games. He can possibly. I could see them winning more than 6. But I'm saying that that's the low end of my, prognosis. That's the low end. So the worst they can do is 6 wins. Okay? 6 wins, 6 losses, right? End the season being a 500 team. And the losses that they have, I want all the losses to be competitive, where you sort of eke out a moral victory, even though I hate that term, moral victory. Maybe they get blown out 1 game, but I don't want to see consecutive losses, all right? And I don't want to see what I saw last football season, where they're losing like 7 of their last 8 or 8 of their last 9. I don't want to see that. Okay, but I believe that if they do, realistically speaking, putting things into context, if they do win 6 games, you have to consider that a success for a redshirt first-year coach. All right, learning the ropes of the 5A conferences, of the Power 5 conferences, right? Learning the ropes. All right, he doesn't need to learn how to recruit. He knows how to recruit because his personality is a recruitment tool in and of itself. So, but give him some time. All right, Sapp is not coached at any NFL level retirement. I already read that. Moving along here. All right, so that's the article. Yeah, that's the article. So Travis Hunter returning to Buffalo's landing 24. So yeah, so Travis Hunter, like I said, the team is much more than Shador and Travis. I think more respect should be given to the entire team. Electric wide receivers, electric speed. They have it. They have the tools, guys, to compete. That's what I want to see, competition. And just having a competent offense. All right? Anyway, all right, thank you guys for listening. That's my spiel on the Warren Sapp hire. I hope things go well for Coach Prime. I hope that he does win more games than 6, but that's my prediction. That's not my prediction, actually. That's my prediction for a low-end season. He cannot go into next football season, or this football season coming up, and win 4 games. That cannot happen. He can't win 5 more. To see a 2-game increase is actually reasonable. Win 6 games this upcoming season. The next football season wins 8 or 9. That's when he starts to get to that level of being an upcoming program. Coach Prime is starting to, implement his footprint on that program, his style. All right, that's what we want to see. That's what we all want to see as fans of Colorado football. All right. Thank you guys for listening, and stay tuned for another one. All right, thank you guys. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys think. All right, bye.